Hello everybody, welcome to R&B Reviews. I'm your host Rob, and today I'm joined by guest reviewer Justin from Dust Productions.
Hey guys.
Hey, welcome back to the channel, it's great to have you.
Right.
So we just got out of seeing Wakanda Forever, the new Black Panther movie, and we decided we were going to go ahead and discuss this latest edition in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and it's also the concluding film in Phase 4. So, Justin, I know you're a huge Marvel fan, so what were your reactions to this movie?
Like, it was a Marvel movie, but it was, to me, it was just all like a big, like, memorial to Chadwick.
Chadwick Boseman, yeah.
I mean, it was all dedicated to him, and I guess rightfully so. Just imagine, like, 30 years from now or 40 years from now, someone's going to watch that movie, and they're going to be a little confused.
Oh.
You know, because they're going to be like, what the hell happened? Like, you know, like, not everybody keeps up with, like, actors who have passed away, 30 or 40, So that might be a little confusing in years from now, but as of right now, like, I think they did a good job of it. It's kind of like with Iron Man 3, like, I didn't feel like it was an Iron Man movie. I felt like that was a Tony Stark movie. And this wasn't really a Black Panther movie. It was a Wakanda movie.
Yeah, I think that's probably why they put Black Panther in small letters and Wakanda Forever and like the big ones on the promotion.
Yeah.
But I do kind of disagree. I do think with some famous actors, like there's still people that talk about them decades later, like for example James Dean and Heath Ledger. So I do like, yes, this movie is definitely much more somber than perhaps the first Black Panther. It's kind of interesting watching this and comparing it to the first one, because the first one was more of a action movie. There was a lot of comedy and everything, almost like the earlier Marvel movies was. This one is definitely more dramatic and somber, and yeah, I do like the little tributes they had to Chadwick Boseman. Like even in the opening credits, they have, when they do the Marvel logo, they usually have clips of all the Marvel characters. They had strictly him. There was some very good action scenes in there, and I do feel, I kind of have this theory, and we were talking about this when we were leaving. I feel like the movies have become a little bit more, I hate a little bit more complex than they were. The earlier ones were definitely like the Phase 1 and Phase 2 movies I thought were more fun action movies, but I feel like this phase, I feel like have become a little bit more serious. Like for example, they're mourning the death of T'Challa, Chadwick Boseman's Black Panther character. And there's this interesting dynamic between the Queen, played by Angela Bassett, and then of course Letitia Wright as Shuri, Black Panther's sister. And it was kind of interesting because the Queen is up for, everyone's up for spirituality in Wakanda, and they believe that ancestors are there to guide you and help you out, and it's all about tradition. Like the Queen, played by Angela Bassett, is doing this tradition where to remember Black Panther, and Shuri is like, well, I think once we're dead, we're dead. Our ancestors don't come. Like, she's having a crisis of spirituality. Like, she's wondering whether this is really true or everything. And I thought that was kind of interesting. The new villain in this movie, and I'm not up on Marvel. I always thought he was supposed to be more of a superhero, and I thought that he's the villain here, and there's almost like parallels between him and Shuri. So I noticed that these movies are, there's some moments that humor and, the action scenes are really good. I love the technical aspects. I think the CGI here was actually good. Like, there's some movies like the Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness where I feel like the CGI was a bit of a letdown, but I thought it was a suspenseful movie.
There was just a lot to follow in the movie. It's just, there's all kinds of different little things going on. And, they had to play a lot of catch up because they didn't have Chadwick. I'm interested to know what the original script was like, because I'm sure the movie would have been very different.
Yeah. I thought the movie was a little bit slow. When the movie began, I loved how it began, how it was like nice and quiet and it really held your attention. But towards the middle of the movie, I do feel like there were some stuff because stuff has been set up in other movies and other TV shows, and you have to keep building up to the next, big thing that's coming up, and I do feel that happened a little bit here, and I feel like there were a couple characters that were reintroduced or introduced that I felt like didn't get fleshed out enough in this movie. The last 90 minutes, I think the movie really picked up. It really held my attention. I felt like everything was tight and it moved very well. So I feel like, yeah, the movie runs at 161 minutes, so I felt like it was a very, I mean, I enjoyed watching it. I do feel like there was a lot to keep track of, but I did like some of the dimensions of the characters, like with, you know, how they're going to carry on, you know, with Wakanda, and there's some other factors that are happening. So it was, you know, that they have to, you know, think about, and, you know, what they're going to be going from here. So I felt like there was a lot to think about, but I do kind of see where you're coming from a bit.
Like all the governments of the world are getting ready to pretty much attack Wakanda, which didn't happen in the movie, but it's coming, I'm sure. I didn't like the fact that it was so long, but they kind of had to do it that way.
Yeah. What's kind of interesting is I felt like the recent Thor movie moved a little bit too fast, but this one, you know, it's a little bit too slow. It's like they're still trying to, you know, I don't know, figuring out or what have you. But overall, what did you think of the Phase 4, like with all the movies and with all the shows, and, you know, compared to where they are now?
I like the original Avengers. Like, I don't really like where they're going with it, and pretty soon I'll be done watching Marvel. Just because I like the original characters, and I get it. Like, they need to introduce new characters because actors don't want to play the old characters anymore. So I get it, but it's not something I want to continue to watch. I think as soon as they do the next Avengers movie, that's probably when I'm just going to bow out.
Was it because they're sticking too close to the comic books, or they're going a different route than you think they should be doing?
Yeah, they're doing too much of the comic books. I don't like Professor Hulk. It's stupid. I like the original Hulk. I don't like that Steve Rogers is gone. I don't like that Iron Man is dead. But that's all stuff that like kind of had to change, and I get it. But I don't like it.
Yeah, my problem with MCU now is I feel like you just point out, there's a lot going on, and there's a lot to keep track of. Like when the first phase, well, the first couple of phase movies were coming out, a movie would come out like an Iron Man or a Thor, and they would be months before you saw the next movie, so you got a bit of a break. Now there's a lot of shows going on, and it's like, okay, you got to pay attention to what you got to try to watch all this, because some of these characters might show up in movies. Like, for example, Doctor Strange: The Multiverse of Madness. You had to watch WandaVision in order to understand her backstory of how she got to this point. And I feel like when the TV shows were first starting, like WandaVision and Falcon and the Winter Soldier and Loki, they would come out and there would be like a nice break, and then you'd move on to the next show. Now it seems like it's like the second one ends, the next one starts up. Like you had Moon Knight and She-Hulk and that one werewolf movie that came out recently.
I stopped watching all that garbage. It's too much to watch. Yeah, I just want to go to a Marvel movie and get all my information from there. I don't want to have to watch all these Disney Plus shows. The only Disney shows I watched was Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which is not in the MCU timeline whatsoever. And then I liked Hawkeye. Like, that was it.
Well, you did say there was a reference in Age of Ultron to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and I know a couple characters have shown up in the movies too. I do agree. I feel like now it's like, it was nice to have a break, but now there's so much Marvel shows in between the movies coming at you that I feel like it's kind of... It just feels like there's now too much, and it's losing its value. You know, you had this great thing where a movie, like 4 or 5 movies would come out every couple of years for a phase, and now you got the movies, you got the shows, and it's like filling in, and it's like, I feel like it's just like it's too much.
It is. And it's not special like it was when I'm going to go watch Iron Man 2 in theaters, you know, when it came out, and this is going to be connected to another movie. I got to go watch that. Mm-hmm. Like, that was the magic of the MCU. Mm-hmm. Watch one movie, and it's going to tell you something about the next movie. But, like, when you start connecting TV shows to it, too, I don't like it.
You can also make the argument that maybe, like, when Endgame came out, that was the peak, and everything after that maybe not have... Because this phase of movies, I felt like, I don't know how you feel, but I feel like Phase 4, compared to the other phases, was a little bit of a disappointment for me. The only movie I really liked was Shang-Chi, because that one felt almost like a classic Marvel movie. You got goofy characters, you got some action stuff. It's like the old formula, and then
I didn't like that movie. I stopped watching it. I thought it was dumb.
well, I liked it, but I noticed that these movies, I feel like they've become a little bit more. The characters are much more complex, and I was wondering, this theory, like how I mean, granted, should Marvel and DC listen, or not DC, Marvel and Disney listen to other filmmakers? But when Martin Scorsese said these aren't cinema, they're just amusement park rides, or it's just popcorn action flicks, I sometimes wonder whether the higher ups are like, you know what, we got to make our characters more complex. We got to have more, just a little bit more substance to put in there. And I wonder whether that was that, or whether they felt like they had to do this in order to keep the series fresh. Because if you do the same thing over and over again, I imagine it would have gotten, boring sooner.
I think it's getting too complicated. Like sometimes the simplest thing is the best way. Like all the Phase 1 movies were a little darker, and then Phase 2 and 3 was all comical, and I didn't like that too much. And like you said that, like there was some jokes in Black Panther, but it wasn't like as comical, and I kind of liked that about that movie. So that's something I like about the movie.
Yeah. So I mean, do you feel like Phase 4 was a disappointment? Because I know once in a while I ask you what you think about it, and I don't know if you felt like it's been the weakest link so far.
Yeah, Phase 4 sucks because it brought all that Disney Plus crap.
Yeah. I don't know. I think for me the reason my take with the movies is they're okay or they're good. Except for, like I said, I really like Shang-Chi, and Spider-Man was a good crowd pleaser. But I felt like Black Widow was good, not great, and again we get the complex backstory. Thor I thought was all right, but I felt like it moved too fast, and I felt like it didn't. There was so many good ideas, but they didn't gel together.
You're talking about Love and Thunder?
Yeah, the last one, and Doctor Strange: Multiverse of Madness. I was really looking forward to it, and it just was a disappointment. And this one I thought was good. I mean, I did enjoy it a bit, but I feel like we just said, there's like they're trying to. It's dragged out, and they're trying to, connect everything. So, yeah. So, I mean, overall, I don't know. How would you rate the movie out of 5 stars?
I'd give this one 4 out of 5.
Okay. I'm almost around there with you. I'm going to give it 3.5. I think it's worth checking out. I think it's one of the better ones of Phase 4.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to add, Justin?
The Disney Plus shows suck.
I don't quite. I liked WandaVision. Loki was good. I would say Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I thought dragged out a little bit. So
I thought WandaVision was the worst one out of all of them.
Really, I really
garbage.
I really liked that one. Yeah. Well,
I liked Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which again is not a part of the rest of them, and I liked Hawkeye. Falcon and the Winter Soldier was okay. All the others sucked.
Okay. Well, there's supposed to be a season 2 Loki, so maybe things will be better. We'll see. Yeah. All right. Well, that's our take on Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, and our, I guess you could say, little review of what we thought of Phase 4. What did you think of the movie? Please post your comments in the comment box below. What did you think of Phase 4? Did you find it disappointing? Did you like it? Do you like this different take on the Marvel Cinematic Universe formula? Please post your thoughts in the comment box below. And if you're interested, please hit the like button. Go to the bell notifications so every time I get a video up, you'll know it's up there. So, Justin, thanks so much for taking the time for letting, for doing this video.
Yeah.
And letting us use your couch and living room.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you guys very much for watching.